So we all know we can use AI to write our thesis and our articles, and it promises speed. You can do it in one day if you can. I know a few people that can do chapter 1 to 5 in one day. It promises speed, but does it really make your work faster? By the end of this video, you're going to understand what I mean. And in this video, I'm going to show you proofs and also have an honest conversation with you about the use of AI in academic research. So I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she sent me her work via email and showed me what her supervisor said about her work. And it kind of was AI because we all use AI. So it was about 81% AI detected from Turnitin, which most schools use to check for AI and plagiarism. If you're in a government university or public university, it's not your concern, at least as of the time of shooting the video, because they don't really check for AI detection. They only check for plagiarism, and they don't tell you that it's compulsory that you must reduce your AI plagiarism, your AI score. It's kind of more prominent, especially in private universities. I don't want to call some names, but in the universities that I went to, Caleb University, I did a project for one of my clients. I think that was last year, and she's in mass comm department, and her supervisor was like she should reduce the AI level percentage. And it's kind of recurring because this friend of mine that reached out to me is also in mass comm. Anybody that you're going to outsource your research work is probably using AI. So I'm not ashamed of like saying that I use AI. My friend said the AI limit is 10%, and I just laughed because it's very, very hard to get to 10% AI, which I'm going to talk about how to get to that, which is going to be stressful, but it might actually work. I'm saying might because I'm not really sure. And by the end of the video, you're going to understand what I mean. I'm just going to pick up my master's report because there was a time we wrote an article and they had to check for plagiarism and AI. And at the end of the day, they said the acceptable AI was 1%, which is impossible. It's just funny because even the lecturers they use AI, and yet you're telling me 1% AI. I mean, it's just funny. And the acceptable plagiarism, which I kind of agree with, is 10%. Anything less than 10% is fine. So I often get below 10% anytime I'm writing for my clients or writing for myself. So I'm not really concerned about plagiarism. Some of my AI prompts often help me to get lower plagiarism score. They said AI score is 75%, which is kind of funny because I tried to reduce it, but I didn't have the chance to send it back for another plagiarism scan with Turnitin. And the truth about Turnitin is that you can't really get access to it as a student. What I mean by that is that you can't pay for Turnitin except you're an organization, and you will have to go through an organization. So there's always a caveat to that because some people have a way of cracking Turnitin, and I don't want to even talk about that. But I know some people that you can pay for Turnitin scan, and when you pay them, they are going to scan your Turnitin and they are going to scan your work and send over the results. I've had bad experiences with people promising softwares and all those stuff, and at the end of the day, they scam you.
Talo. Sorry.
I'm not really sure about that, but it's one of the ways to go about it. So the truth about this whole AI stuff is that I gave up 2 years ago, and I'm not going to even bother checking about it. But because of the conversation I had yesterday, I felt like I should talk about it. AI detectors and AI humanizers is just a race to infinity. What I mean by that is that the AI humanizers, they update their software to become smart enough to bypass the AI detectors. For example, Turnitin has a way of detecting something that was written by AI. So the humanizers they get smart enough and they trick Turnitin into thinking that it was written by human. And over time, Turnitin and other AI detectors will get smarter and update their software to become more aware of some of the patterns that AI humanizers use. And at the end of the day, the previous words that were humanized with the AI humanizer comes out as AI written. and it doesn't bypass Turnitin and all those AI detectors. And over time, the AI humanizers would get smarter and make an update to bypass the AI detectors. Then the AI detectors would become more aware of some of the patterns of the new updates, and they also update their software. So you get to a point where they are both updating their softwares.
Prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
I shy away from creating these types of videos because they are not evergreen, because there's always updates. At the moment of shooting this video, Turnitin has released an update that is very difficult to bypass or to trick into thinking that the content was written by a human. I've not found any AI humanizing tools that is strong enough to beat Turnitin, because I've heard of some like Stealth GPT. I mean, at the point of shooting this video is what people are using. I've not really tried it. I'm going to show you with what I used previously. I mean, they made a bold claim that if it doesn't work, they are going to pay your money back for the words that were detected as AI. So I'm going to use that for the purpose of this video. And let me show you some things that you need to know. The idea is that I copied this from one of the topics that we are talking about, the impact of social media on the student participation. I think if you've been following this channel, you know we've been using it to address our chapter 1 series, and I detected it and they said that it was AI, so I had to humanize it, and this was the humanizer I was talking about that I used to humanize my work at the time before I stopped and I quit AI detection. And at the end of the day, it humanizes the word. But if you're reading this, the truth about the humanizers is that they try as much as possible to make your work sound human, and in the process of doing that, they break the grammar structure and like write stuff that you wouldn't even want to write. Like the grammatical structure is very bad. Sometimes it's bad. So in process of bypassing AI, so when you transfer it to Turnitin or any other AI detectors, which we are going to look at a few, they are going to think that it was written by human. And you can look at it, for example, and if you read through it, all this while I've been talking, if you have read through it, you would understand some of the changes. Like, for example, I can see that this in-text citation was kind of moved to this part. I don't know why, but if I just have a moment and look at it, okay, now I have seen something. We said engaging in other non-academic related activities has become rightful. I mean, this wouldn't fly as an academic research writing style. Like, you wouldn't want to be using rightful in your work. Despite this, there exists a lack of sufficient scholarly research focusing on the effect of digital distraction. I mean, the word scholarly research, I mean, it might not be bad for some areas, but you're supposed to write in a formal and academic tone. And I'm not really sure this will really fly very well. So it happens when you're using AI humanizers because they try to bypass it and they break the sentence structure. And so now let's look at the results. So this was before I did any humanization, and he said that results was also checked with Turnitin, Copyscapes. I mean, these are like the most popular AI detection tools. You use Turnitin and check it to give you a different percentage. So now I humanized it, and he said it's going to appear at 0 percentage for Turnitin and these other tools. And I'm going to be using some of these while showing it, so you can see and you don't blindly copy what they said it has been humanized and go and submit to your supervisors and think that you've gotten your text humanized because it's not actually humanized. One of these is what they call zero GPT, and is one of the most popular and free detectors. So now let's check what the percentage was. 0% AI. Now if we move further to some of these detectors, which I'm going to be showing you, it varies. I've not used Quillbot before, but they're telling me that the content is 17% likely AI. If we go to, I mean, I don't know what this one is, aidetector.com, and it's telling me that it's AI detected 75% AI, and we have to humanize it. So I'm going to show you another one. This is Zero GPT. I don't use it for academic research, but I use it for other writing works that I do. So it says it's human. It doesn't give the percentage. Okay, it says it's 100% human. Now let's try Grammarly. Grammarly says that this is 25% AI generated. I mean,
Stop the cap.
Now, if you're to ask what is the best AI detector that is closest to Turnitin, like I said, you can't easily get access to Turnitin except from a university, and or you like send your work to your lecturer to check again. And imagine checking again and again and again. Like it gets to a point where you're just stressing them out. I said it before in the beginning. If you're not in a private university, or your university is not particular about AI, but they are only talking about plagiarism, then you're safe, so you don't have to worry. But it gets to a point where it's going to become like a general problem, and I hope it doesn't get to that, at least when you're still in school. So when you're done, that's when all these things can start popping up. So this is what I know. I know of Winston AI because I've used it a lot of times, and it's kind of the closest to Turnitin, but I had to do a research to check because it has been a long time, like 2 years since I did this, and I'm seeing Proof Academic. So we are going to be using Proof Academic. We are going to be using Copyleaks. I know of Copyleaks. Winston AI, when I pasted it, it said that this is human and 85% 5% AI. So how are you going to do if your how are you going to do if your department is like 1% AI? Just like that one I showed you, like the screenshot I showed you before, and also 10% AI.
Bros, this hard. These are hard.
Sometimes these texts can be saying 95%, but when you add more text that you've humanized, you can drop it down to like 70%. Check out the next one, Proof Academic. I hope I got that right. Its probability is 99 human generated. I mean, I just don't know at this point. And let's check copy leaks. I mean, it says that it's 0%. So as you can see overall, it's saying that it's more human generated than the rest. Every AI detector has different grading system. I mean, I don't even trust any of them, even Turnitin, because if you actually take out some of the academic work that was done years before AI and put it in originality, turn it in Winston, sometimes you would get that the work that was done manually was written by AI. So it's just a lot. So I don't really trust this, but why should you care? Especially if your supervisor is always telling that you need to summarize your work below 10%. Using AI to write your work is very fast. And I mean, you'll be like, why do I need to pay someone when AI can write it for me? The way to humanize your work is by writing it manually. I mean, AI is going to help you, give you a draft, but you might actually need to take out time to write it in your own words. And it gets to a point where you're writing it with your own words that you try as much as possible to humanize it, and you don't put in that effort because we are all busy, and as students we have a lot of assignments, a lot of projects to do, and taking out time to humanize the work that you thought that was done by AI that is going to give you speed, and when you're doing it you're going to be frustrated sometimes because you don't have the vocabulary to write words that will not sound informal, and also doesn't you're not sure that it's going to bypass AI detection because your your judgment is going to be like, I mean, let me just reward one sentence. But there are so many things that when you check it with AI, even after rewriting it by yourself, you can still flag as AI detected content because there are structures, word structures. So it's a lot to actually do. And what's doing is what's doing well. And if you're tired and you're feeling sleepy and you just decided to do it, and at the end of the day, your work still comes out as AI, it's very, very frustrating. To write a work, that's the easiest way I can explain it. I'm still searching for more solutions to it. And if you know any solution and you're watching this video, please let me know in the comments. And if you're watching this and you're seeing that your department demands or your supervisor demands that you humanize your work or bring down the AI percentage, I'm still going to be searching for solutions. But like I said, I gave up on this for a long time because I tried a lot of ways to get this done, and it was not done. So if you want help with this, it's going to be paid because I would spend time to do it. And if I get a solution, obviously, if you're in this situation where you need to get your work humanized, I get 50 likes on this video. I now have 50 subscribers at the point of shooting these videos. So it's good to ask for 50 likes. And well, I mean, just like this video if you're watching it, like it, and if it gets to 50, then I'm going to take it upon myself to try as much as possible to figure out how to humanize. And if you read what I said and it applies to you and it's going to help you, like, subscribe. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to like this video. Just click the like button. Enough of me rambling. Bye. See you in the next one.